A very warm welcome and good afternoon to all those people who've turned up, and thank you very much. Let me share my screen and we are good to go. So guys, in case we haven't met, let me introduce myself. My name is Bhuvanaa Shreeram. I am a certified financial planner. I've been in the financial services industry for the last 16 odd years, and I run a company called Plan to Prosper. We're a boutique wealth management firm. We work with about 130 clients and largely financial planning and wealth management. Today in the 10 Crore Club welcome meeting, I'm joined by my colleague Kajal Singh and two mentors of the team, the club, Amit ji and Karan. We'll talk more about Amit and Karan in just a little while. But this session is about you and the 10 Crore Club. So are you good? I just want to lay out a few, set some expectations. So we have about a 60-minute, 70-minute presentation of about 30-35 minutes, and then open the door for a lot of conversations. So meanwhile, while we are at it, if you can keep yourself on mute and keep your videos off, that'd be helpful. And then at the end of the presentation, if you can unmute yourself and put your hands up, and we'll unmute you and you could share your views and feedback. I'm very, very happy and eager to hear what you got to say. So the 10 Crore Club. So is that exciting? Meanwhile, you please share whatever your thoughts are on the chat box. We'd like to see what you have to share on the chat box. I keep the chat box open as well. And we have a few exercises and a few interactions. If you can keep this interactive, be very, very happy. Right? Okay, so here we go. My first question for all of you is, what can having 10 crores mean to you? Does it even mean anything? So you came in saying 10 Crore Club, hai, interesting. And why is it named 10 Crore Club? We'll come to that in a little while. But what can having 10 crores mean to you? So it can mean many things to many people, right? To me, at least, having 10 crores means I wouldn't ever have to worry about doing anything to actively earn income. I can spend my time on what really matters to me. I can give my children an opportunity that whatever they want to aspire for without putting clamps on it, I can give them those opportunity. I can create that kind of impact on my community, on the causes that I care for. So 10 crores can mean a lot of things to me. So if you can share on the chat box, what is it about the 10 crore number, or if you had 10 crores, what would it do to you? What kind of impact will it happen? What kind of impact will it make to you? And what will that mean to you? Can I see some quick chats, some sharing happening here? Focusing on important things in life other than money, okay? Like philanthropy, value creation, a good corpus to retire, okay? That's amazing. Good corpus to retire. I'm very, very keen to hear what can having 10 crores. So, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to set a very clear goal, right? And we're saying that the process to get to that goal is going to be simple, but not easy. So the goal better be worth it, right? Unless the goal is worth it, something that inspires you, something that gives you that, yes, this is something that I really want, then you're not going to give it your all. So that's what I'm trying to find out. So what can having 10 crores mean to you? I'm passionate to do things that I like to do, start business, create employment. Wow, okay, that's cool. Yeah, Shubdeep says this amount exactly matched with my goal statement of my net financial worth. Okay, so 10 crores is just some number that came from thin air, you could say, or I could say something like a millionaires club in the US. So an equivalent of it being something like a 7.5 crores and rounded off to 10 crores. So it has no meaning. A 10 crore is just an aspiration. It would mean early retirement for PS. Okay, it would mean early retirement. What would early retirement mean to you? So what will you do if you retire early, PS? It'll empower women, Thanvi, come on. It'll empower women. Okay, what can having 10 crores mean to you? Even if you're thinking about it, it's a great thought to put your thoughts behind. So this is amazing. It can mean a lot of things to you. You could really change generations and generations of being middle class. You can change your family tree forever. You could be a blessing to your family, to your children, your grandchildren, to your society, to your community. It could just mean many things, guys. So helps me to start my purpose of creating a mind educational academy, start a business that's in mind. Wow, okay. So these are all very inspiring, and this is amazing. So what we're trying to share here is, I mean, I've been in this industry for a long time now, about 15, 16 years, and I've had the good fortune of working with people who've made it in the 10 crore club. Figuratively, the 10 crore club who made it to a state of financial freedom. We have a couple of people here in our meeting as well. And I've also had the opportunity of working with people who are just starting off, who are trying to build wealth. And a few things that I've always found that stops people, or they think that this works, this doesn't work, are some popular beliefs about money that many people have. Okay, you look at somebody who's very rich and you're thinking, maybe they just inherited a lot of money, right? And maybe they just went to some fancy Ivy League school and that's how they became that rich, or they took some crazy risks with their money. They did, they bought the lottery, or they got some, ridiculous things done with their money, or they maybe started a startup and that was their idea of getting to wealth. They owned a company, or they were the CEO or CFO of a company, and that is how they built wealth. While this is one end of the spectrum saying these are popular beliefs about money, truth seems to be something else. Truth substantiated by a lot of research, and also of the very many people that I have met who've made it. They don't seem to have done all of these things, and these don't seem like truth. So let's just understand what are these myths about money and what really means. What is it really, right? So this is a research done by the Ramsey Solutions. Dave Ramsey is like a big guy in the US, and they did a research over 10,000 millionaires in the US in 2018, and this is what they found out, right? They said 79% of millionaires received zero inheritance. Okay, they did not get a penny in inheritance. About 17% of people got about 0 to 100,000 in inheritance, and less than 4% of the millionaires who have $1 million in net worth received $1 million or more in inheritance. Okay, so inheritance doesn't seem to fit into the whole story, but let it be. Another myth that we see is that these people were lucky, or they did some, they took some risks, and they got some things going for them in their lives, right? So this also doesn't seem to hold any good. So this is what we see here. Millionaires attribute discipline and hard work as the reason for their wealth. They build their wealth through their employer-sponsored retirement plan, 79% of the people. Now, this is important for us to understand because in the US, the 401k is optional, right? So people opt in and then they build their wealth, and 90% of them have never taken out a loan for business. Right? Forget investing. They didn't leverage and take out a loan and all of that stuff. So those things don't seem to have happened. Now, I want to share this with an example of one of my own clients. So this is the story of my client. He's about 64 years old, and he grew up in a small village in the Tirunelveli district in Tamil Nadu, and he lost his father very young. He went to Ramakrishna Math, and that's where he was educated. His uncle sponsored his graduation. He studied at government college in Chennai and joined a pharma company as a medical representative, slowly grew up the ranks, married a doctor. His wife is also a doctor, but she works for the government of Maharashtra, so she's BMC doctor. And this is their net worth. Okay, he's retired now. He lives in Chembur, in a 3 BHK flat, drives around a Mercedes, travels to the US at his own cost to meet his children twice a year. And this is his portfolio. There's nothing really fancy here. You see PPF and you see MFs bought through SIPs and blue chip stocks and gold bonds. And I don't see anything fancy about anything here. He's just built people like you and I who've come from very humble buildings. Building this kind of net worth has been possible. Right. And number 3 myth that we see is that they've probably got a lot of money, meaning their careers must have done very well, or they must have had Ivy League education, right? So that also doesn't seem to cut eyes. This is a little bit of research that has happened. And I know of 2 people, clients of mine, both of them 52, children going to college, both of them in good career positions, of course. But one went to Ross Business School in the US to do an MBA. The other went to University of Baroda to do an MBA. Okay, very comparable. In fact, if you net out all the loans, the person who went to a local college has a better net worth than the one who did otherwise, right? So these are certain myths that I don't think cuts hold, bears any meaning to it. And this is where this whole idea of the 10 crore club came up, saying, you know what we believe and what is the reality seems to be very, very different. And what has really made these people, and if there is a certain behavior, how is it that that person who went to Ramakrishna Math and then did it, what did he do? Or what are these people who are making it to the 10 crore club behaving very differently from all of us, right? And then this backed by research and a little bit of my own study, there are 7 or 8 different characteristics which I realized that people who are 10 crore clubbers or people who've made it, financially free people, seem to have in them. Now you can just do a check whether all of this applies to you or not. Number one, they take responsibility. So this is a very popular question that I ask clients before I sign them on is, what is the best thing that you did with money, or what is the worst thing that you did with money? And the worst thing that they did with money usually goes on for a longer time. There's a conversation happening about it. And not once have I seen them say that this is because, I'm blaming the government didn't do this properly, or I didn't get an order, or GST happened, or my financial advisor gave me the wrong advice. No, I've always heard them say that, yeah, I took a wrong call, it didn't work for me, but I just move on, right? So number one, they take responsibility. Good things go well, they take responsibility. Things don't go well, they take responsibility. Number two is they set goals and they make plans. So it's just not some airy goal that says, 10 crores or financial freedom. There's a plan to it. They say, okay, I'm going to put aside this much, I'm going to behave like this, I'm going to do this. So there's a plan to it when they set a goal. So there's no, yeah, okay, the universe will conspire, of course it will, but every goal is backed by a plan. This is very interesting. They live on less than they make, every single one of them. They're not interested in impressing anyone. I know of people who've made it there, still driving a Wagoner. Okay, so I have a particular story. So I had a client, this is from my Tata Motors times when I was selling trucks. There was this particular client of ours who had 100 vehicles. He had a 100 vehicle fleet. He was in Vellore. He was running these vehicles for a car manufacturer, and really rich person, right? 100 vehicle fleet is fairly large. If you go to his house, he'll give you coffee in a gold tumbler. Okay, that's how affluent he was. And he would come from Vellore, he would drive all the way and come to our office in Chennai, and he would have to park his car right at the parking, and that guy would ask for 5 rupees for parking. You know what this person will do? He'll call me. He'll say, Bhuvanaa, I am here at the parking. This fellow is asking me for parking money. Can you come down and talk to him? Okay. So I would go down and say, okay, Amara parking mein dal dijiye, please put him there, and bring him up. Now I used to think, he's got so much money. Why is he so conjuice with 5 rupees? And that's when one of my colleagues told me, you know what, it's not that, why is he rich and not spending money? He's rich because he spends money so intentionally. They're very careful about where they put their penny. They're never casual about it. There's a lot of respect for money, right? And they stay away from all kind of debt. When I say all kind of debt, yes. So Mukesh Ambani borrowed $21 billion and paid it off in 2 months. Okay. They pay off loans really very fast. They use cash for everything. They do not use credit cards. I've been out with all of them. I've never seen them use credit cards. They save and invest regularly and consistently. They're not waiting for the next bonus to come or the ESOPs to happen or the next big business to crack. They're just investing a percentage of their income very, very regularly. And that's how they seem to have built their wealth. They understand, take and manage risk. They're not running away from this. They're open-minded. They read the fine print. They ask questions. So one of my most interesting conversations have been with people who can afford to take the risk, right? So they want to know it all, and they understand, take and manage the risk, and they get a team together. So this is very critical. One of my clients taught me this. Anything that you want to do, Bhuvanaa, you want to do business, you want to build your wealth, or you want your child to do something, getting that team together is important. And you need 3-4 people in the team. One is you have a coach who knows what they're talking about technically, who understands the nuances of running the business, and a mentor who's just walked a little ahead of you, who's been through that journey. So if you're a part of a runner's club, you'll understand this. So there's somebody who's teaching you how to run, and then there's somebody who's just run a few more marathons than you have. So who's telling you, wear the shoe, don't eat this the night before the marathon. So somebody who's just walked ahead of you. And then you have cheerleaders. Your team should have cheerleaders, which is your family, typically family, friends, team, right? Who are cheerleading you, good times, bad times. Even if you're down, they are, pepping you up, and you have a cheerleader in your team, and you have friends at the end of the finish line, you have somebody to celebrate the whole thing with, right? So get the team together is something that I've seen all of them have. They have a very, very solid team that, they've put together very consciously. Now, this is what got me thinking, and how do we put this team? I need a support team. How can I put this team? So if I have a support team and all of the other things can happen. Now, it doesn't seem like an easy job, getting to creating wealth, because there have been so much efforts that we made over the years, but something or the other happens that, we seem to be falling back on our attempts. So having a team seemed like a very sensible thing to do. And that's when the idea of the 10 crore club, if we can have a club, so primarily inspired by the Runners Club, saying if we can have a club that supports each other, who's got a common goal of reaching that finish line, and who's open-minded and who's willing to learn, and who we can be a strength to each other, would it make a lot of sense? So that's where this question came up. Would it make a lot of sense to put this team together, right? And so that's how this 10 crore club came about. And I was just sharing these ideas with Amitji and Karan, and they said, wow, this sounds like a good idea. I'm going to share. I mean, they want to share a little bit of their story as well. I called them in. But what is the 10 crore club? If that's what you want to know, a 10 crore club is a club where people come together. It's for aspiring 10 crores, people who want to build a net worth of 10 crores because it's important for them, because it means something for them, it means impact for them. But they're looking at building wealth the right way. No shortcuts, no wanting get quick rich or anything like that. They want to do the right things. They want to build wealth the very right way. Aspiring 10 crores who are willing to take responsibility and do what it takes. So they take on, they take the blame if things go well, they take the credit when things don't go either ways, and they do what it takes, right? And for aspiring 10 crores who participate with an open mind and heart. When I say open mind, I'm okay to learn, I'm willing to explore and learn from other people, and if I make mistakes, it's all right, I'm going to figure out, right? Participate with an open mind and heart, and aspiring 10 crores with a mindset to support each other, right? So the 10 crore club is that idea of bringing people together who can do this. Right. What this is not is very important for us to understand. We're not some stock to provider, some get rich quick scheme, some MLM. It's not a business growth club. It's not a networking club. We're not here to do business with each other. We all have one common goal of getting to 10 crores. We're all going to get onto that journey. It's a climb uphill. Okay, but it's going to be a lot of fun once we are up there, but it's going to be a lot of fun along the way as well. Okay, it's very different from that highway which goes nowhere. But this walking uphill, the fortunate part is that people have walked that hill. Okay, there is a path, there is a process. So wealth building need not be like prayer, that you do something and then hope for something to happen. No, it can be like precision engineering. You have a process to follow, you do certain things, do it with faith, do it with complete belief, and then the result is preordained. It is just an outcome, right? So in that process, the 10 crore club, if you still are thinking, is this for you? Is this not for you? Is it okay if we do a quick exercise? Is that all right if we do a quick exercise? Yeah? Can we do a quick exercise? Are you okay? Okay, so I have a quick exercise to do. Okay, let me move this a little bit so I can see all your responses. Okay, now you have to answer like to talk or hate to talk. Or hate to talk. Okay, so you say I like to talk about this. You can just say like or hate. I like to talk. I'm going to give you some scenarios. They'll come up on the screen, and you read those scenarios. Think about it for a second and say I like to talk about it. I hate to talk about it. Okay, is that okay? Okay, so I like to talk. I enjoy, you will say that you like to talk when you enjoy getting new ideas about this. I don't have anything to hide on this subject, or this is a good opportunity for candid sharing of ideas and opinions. If you think that way, then you say, I like to talk, right? The situations are yet to come, just wait, okay? And you say you hate to talk when I wouldn't be caught dead discussing this. I'd boot out of the room if you were having this conversation, okay? So we have about 5 or 6 situations, so just go for it. I wouldn't spend too much time, just give your thoughts on this. Like to talk or hate to talk. Someone asks you, how are you doing financially? Say the truth. How are you doing financially? Somebody's asking, how are you doing financially? Would you like to talk? Would you hate to talk? Your partner wants to discuss this month's budget. you bolt out of the room? Skip dinner today? Your partner wants to discuss this month's budget. Think about it and answer. I'm not even looking at your answers, guys. It's for you to realize for yourself. That's all. A good natured neighbor who runs an NGO, he says he wants to talk to you. And you have this feeling that he's probably asking for some specific contribution for his NGO. Would you like to talk to him? I hate to talk. Okay. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Okay. Your child or a younger sibling asks you to co-sign or guarantee a loan or a credit card application. Your child or a younger sibling asks you to co-sign or guarantee a loan or a credit card application. Would you like to talk or would you hate to talk? You happy to do that? Hate to talk. Like to be a guarantor? You like to be a guarantor? Yeah. A money manager in your family says, I'm concerned about a few items on the credit card statement. I'm concerned about a few items on the credit card statement. Would you like to talk? Or will you just run away from the room? Hate to talk. I just like to talk. Yeah, I know. Okay. A friend asks you, where do you invest your money? Where do you invest your money? You'd like to talk? Okay. You reach out to your bank RM and he's asking for a loan and he tells you, tell me about your financial situation. Right? Hate it. I know, I hate it too. Okay, last question. You had a loan and your mom or dad knew about it and they once just drop in and ask you, did you pay off that loan? Did you pay off? No choice but to like is hate, Oliver. Okay, did you pay off that loan? Did you pay off that loan? Would you proudly say, yeah, I paid off, or like run away? I hate to talk about it. Yeah. Okay. Good, great. Okay, nice. So this is just to put that spotlight and say, we typically like to talk about things that we're doing well with. Right? So if I'm doing well in my fitness or my running or my children are doing well, I like to talk about it. If some of my hobbies are doing very well, if my business is doing very well, I like to talk about it. And if I'm not doing too well with something, I'm embarrassed about it, I'm ashamed about it, then I don't want to talk about it. If there's something to hide, then I don't want to talk about it. Right? So you make a decision, is this for you? If on the whole, if you're willing and eager to discuss financial matters openly and candidly, because it can give you new ideas, because it can help you progress, then maybe this is for you. Right? If on the whole that you're not willing, you're not eager to discuss financial matters openly, and this is something that's of worry, even then this is for you because you want to get to being more willing and eager to discuss financial matters openly. Right? So this must have given you some idea of this, whether this is for you or not. But like I was telling you earlier, now this is a club and we're embarking on a journey that's like, if you're going to the Mount Everest and you're going as a team, this is going to be tough terrain. There are going to be a lot of distractions that come your way. And there are certain rules that you have to follow, right? Certain principles that we want to follow in this club. Okay, some 9 principles that we want to be following in this club is something that I want to share with you. The principles to live by that I spend intentionally. So in this club, we spend intentionally. In our family, we work as a team. We'll talk about this in a little more detail much later. I save like a pessimist and invest like an optimist. I keep my promises and reach my goals. I eat healthy, exercise, and take adequate rest. I take responsibility for my decisions and my destiny. My children are responsible with money. I'm filled with gratitude for whatever I have, and I give generously without any expectations. So these are some principles that we'd like to adhere. These are some rules. If we don't follow these rules, then we'll be derailing the rest of the team as well. So this is something that I just want to lay the foundation on how we think this club will succeed, and all of us in it will succeed. Okay, so like I was saying, this is precision engineering. Though we're not going to spend too much time on this today because Karan and Amit are very keen to hear from you, your thoughts. I'm just giving you a quick preview on what are the step-by-step process to get to the 10 crore club. So these are the processes. You get to first 1 lakh for emergency, pay off all the loans except the home loan, create a 6-month emergency fund, put away money for retirement, start saving for children education, attack the home loan and pay it off in full, focus on the 10 crore target with investments, and create a giving plan. There's a method to this. We'll share more details about it. In a lot of financial plans, I've seen that people try to do too many things. I'm putting 10,000 rupees for emergency fund. I'm putting 5,000 rupees for repaying my loan, some 2,000 rupees for my children's education, and then nothing really gets done, right? So here it's a lot more focus. I'm going to take one step at a time, do it really well, and then move on to the next step. And that we think is, not that I think, it's proven time and again that that's the way to get ahead in the process of wealth creation, so that you're like totally focused and getting there. Okay, the framework of support that we're thinking of putting together in the club is of knowledge, inspiration, accountability, and celebration. Like I said, there's a coach, there's a mentor, and then there are cheerleaders and friends. The idea in the club is that we meet. So, I mean, I just want to clarify this. This is there's no commercial interest in this. We want to do this because we are on, I'm personally on this journey, and I just think there'll be a lot of fun with having more people and an aspirational group that's in support of each other. So we plan to meet every month. The beginning of the month, the first Sunday of the month, so that, you know, the Sundays afternoons are special times. So you could, to share a little bit of knowledge, share some tools, share some concepts, share some insightful experiences in a session, and then break out into smaller groups and have accountability. So based on what you've learned, maybe let's say, for example, the first session is on budgeting or intentional spending. So there are tools to follow. There are certain methods to do your budgeting, the way you, you balance your checkbooks, right? So understand that, the knowledge piece, and then there is some accountability, which is you agree on certain goals. You might simply say that this month I'm going to sit with my family and do my budget. Or I'm just going to pick one item of expenditure and be very intentional about my spending and keep account of where the money is going, right? So accountability, because that's where most of us fail, even in businesses we fail, right? So accountability, where there is a mentor who's holding you accountable for what you promised to do and what you have done. And if you, for some reason, have found it difficult, help you navigate around it, and then cheer you and celebrate when we reach specific milestones. So when you get, okay, all my credit cards are done, or I paid off my home loan, or I've got to my first crore, and those are reasons for celebration. So you have a team that celebrates you, you're happy to share this happiness with the others and get ahead with this. So this is the framework of support that we thought we'll put together. So Amitji and Karan, so I'll quickly introduce Amitji. Amit is senior veteran in the financial services industry. He comes with, I don't know, 20, 25 years of being there. He's somebody who's extremely highly respected amongst financial advisors. He must have, I mean, more than 1 lakh of people, I don't know, more than 10 lakhs, right? Amitji, just clarify the number of people he's impacted with his sessions. It's tremendous. He's a best-selling author and a thought leader in the industry of financial services, but that's not why he's here. He's here because he's become financially free himself. His story is so inspiring. I've personally been very inspired from working with companies like Franklin Templeton. He quit his corporate job, decided to do something on his own. In just about 7 or 8 years, he paid off his home loan, and he owns his own house in Sion. And his children are young. He took those kind of decisions because he had a certain mindset and a mind frame to do that. And he gladly agreed to share his inspiration and his knowledge. Amitji on one side, and then Karan. Karan is another inspiring person who I've always looked up to. He's done something very similar. He comes from the background of Goldman Sachs and Axis Mutual Fund, and he's earned his financial freedom. He said, forget Bombay, I don't like it. I'm going back to Delhi. I'm going to do my own thing. Yesterday night, I'm calling him saying, I'm going out and meeting friends. I don't have to work because I'm financially free, right? And he agreed to, be that inspiration for us and reach that